In her early years, around 4 years of age, Mom had an accident where she fell off a windowsill and took a pretty nasty bump on her forehead. At the time, of course, the medical profession was still pretty new, and there weren't a whole lot of specialists that could deal with head injuries and head trauma, and they did the best they could. They never knew for sure the extent of the injury that Mom had sustained. As it turned out, she was just fine over the years, but she was in a protected family for several years after that because her parents really didn't know if there were going to be any lasting effects at the time. So the reason that I say this is because she and her brother Carl never really seemed to have a friendly relationship with each other. Because of the fact that Mom was protected, and rightfully so, Carl was somehow put aside and did not get as much attention as his sister did. As a result, Carl became somewhat resentful over his sister, and only in their final years were they able to finally resolve some of those problems that had happened almost 90 years prior. So this took us to the beginning of the Depression, which really started on 1929, October 29th, one day before Mom's 6th birthday. Things had been pretty good as a result of the reconstruction effort, which gave the Seattle area something of an economic boom. But beginning in October of 1929, the country entered a depression. Mom herself was somewhat depressed over her own situation. Her parents divorced during this time, and she just didn't have very much. So one of her friends, a male friend by the name of Jack Wood, took her aside and told her that being a Debbie Downer wasn't going to be working in the culture she lived in, that she really needed to figure out a way to be somewhat more of an optimist. She took those words seriously and changed her life back during the days of the Depression. And she thanked Jack Wood all the way up to his death a few years ago, and they stayed as close friends for over 80 years.